Hi, my dear ones. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Maria. If you're new here, welcome. Please subscribe for more videos on everything related to spirituality, mysteries of the universe, hypnosis, spirit guides, higher self. I talk and cover a full range of topics. So I felt compelled to talk to you about one of the major arcana cards today. This one in particular, Strength. It's the 8th card and the lessons that it holds. I've been going through a number of initiations myself lately. Been working a lot with the major arcana, not for the purposes of divination, but for the purposes of moving through archetypes. So I have been on my journey working with the energy of each card. Each tarot card is really a portal. It's a portal into a particular aspect of the Akashic Records. It's a portal into a particular aspect of reality. Now, we all have to walk our path, but if we play our cards right, at one point in time, we're going to experience every archetype of the tarot deck. Now, of course, the major arcana are larger shifts, are more meaningful archetypes. Now, do I believe the tarot deck contains the entirety of experiences on planet Earth? Absolutely not. I think it is a very reduced rendition of, what could be possible. And maybe one day I'll create my own deck and add a few archetypes for the new world. But for now, we're working within the constraints of the current deck. Now, for every woman that's watching me, and I know that my audience is very female heavy, I highly recommend that you go through your own initiation and through your own integration journey with this specific card, with the 8th card called Strength. And I'll explain why. So we generally don't associate strength with women. And yet on the 8th arcana, on this card, what you have, obviously, this is the Rider-Waite deck. You have a female. Sorry, somehow I can't get this crisp no matter how I try. So you have a female figure here, and she has a lion here, right? And it's she's fairly friendly with the lion, right? I think she's petting him. But originally, this card was called the Charmer or the Temptress, right? So essentially, instead of being called Strength, the implication for this card was that she charmed the lion into submission. Now, of course, this is an allusion to a story that is as old as time. There is an account in the Bible where Samson is killing a lion. There's also an account of Heracles doing one of his 12 acts where he's killing the Nemean lion, right? Like ripping the jaws of the lion with the bare hands. And that is your masculine strength, right? And that is the beauty of this card, is because it takes us straight to that legend, straight to that myth territory, where there is a hero, a masculine hero. And this masculine hero is doing a virtually heroic act of killing an animal, right? Now, lion represents sun consciousness, solar energy, solar strength, right? So essentially, it is also a human besting solar energies, right? Which is an interesting way of thinking about it. But if you kind of, if you listen to my episode on the podcast, you may have heard my episode on the moon and how the moon is controlling us. If you haven't, you have a reason to go and listen to it now. But we are living in the matrix that is very much controlled by the moon and not so much the sun, right? So there you have it, right? So essentially, if you think about the mythology of a human killing the solar symbol, devouring the solar symbol, kind of tells you that, this matrix is not necessarily run by the sun as much as it should be. Now, sun is a proxy for God consciousness here on planet Earth, right? So when something is not run by the sun, there's a problem. Anyway, went on a tangent. Here we have a representation of the female strength. The female strength is not that of brutality, is not the strength of war. It's not the strength of, outmaneuvering, outcompeting anyone or crushing anyone under your butt. That has never been the premise of the feminine strength. The feminine strength has always been about wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is a very masculine domain. The feminine domain is wisdom, is the ability to empathize and understand the other. It's the ability to communicate in such a heartfelt manner, right, that the other person understands your point of view. When I was integrating this card, I was doing that via the tutelage from my spirit guides. And they asked me, what would I rather have? 100 dead lions or 100 lions that are supporting my cause? And for me, obviously, the answer was quite obvious, because I'd rather have 100 lions supporting my cause, obviously. It's a big cause. I want all the strength and all the support I can master. And they told me that was precisely the difference between masculine strength and feminine strength. Masculine strength, and I don't mean men here. Nothing that I'm saying, by the way, is meant to say, oh, men are bad, because we, each of us, have masculine and feminine characteristics. In other words, we have options. You have a full spectrum, a full range of energies that you could be playing with. It could be the brutal masculine strength that can get you a herd of lions or a pride of lions that are dead. But you can choose the feminine type of strength, which is 100 lions that are 100% on your side. That becomes your tribe then, right? So this card teaches us that there are more than one way to look. There's more than one way to look at strength. And then there is more than one way to achieve it, right? I also love this card because this is one of the very few cards in the tarot deck that has the infinity symbol. If you can see, the infinity symbol is, it's really hard. It's like right here, right above her head is the infinity symbol. There is a concept that I'm going to be teaching a lot about in the future that I haven't really made videos about yet, which is called the feminine arc. So the feminine arc is all about the female face of numerology. There are 4 inherently female single numbers, and the numbers are 0, 2, 5, and 8. And so the feminine arc is a journey from 0 to 8, because it's a journey of ascending from your base instincts and from antimatter into infinity. So 8 is what I would call the culmination or the pinnacle number for the feminine arc. And what I mean by that is 8 is the end game for any being seeking to integrate feminine energies within their body. If you understand the mystery of the 8, you understood and you understand the keys to femininity. You hold the keys to the castle. You could open that castle and you can teach. Or if you don't want to teach, everything else is available to you as well. And so essentially, even at soul level, we go through these challenges and these journeys trying to understand the mystery of the 8, the mystery of infinity, because you cannot understand the fullness of Divine Mother without understanding the mysteries of the 8. And the mysteries of the 8 are all about integration. So in fact, they are, whereas the number 2, for instance, right, which is kind of like what we start with feminine energies is 2. So we started duality. So we started separation. We start in this realm of black, white, good, bad, masculine, feminine, etc. The realm of the 8 is the grand unification. It's when things are starting to come together instead of being spread apart. And because of that, I love the number of the 8. Because of that, I urge you, right, to fully understand this card and to fully integrate the energies of the feminine strength. The type of strength that gets you exactly what you want and doesn't have to hurt a single soul. That is the feminine strength, right? When people want to help you, when people want to be on your side, when you don't have to force anything. This is your magnetism, right? This is not your electricity. The electricity is a very masculine principle. It's going out there. It's go-getter. It's all these, it's the active principle of going for it and exuding and expending massive amounts of energy to make anything happen. The feminine type of energy is magnetism, right? So you're sitting pretty and things just happen to you, right? And that is the feminine strength. And that is the lesson of this card. If you're truly trying to integrate this card, here's a couple of things, right? So here's what I like to do. First, I would integrate the card. I would integrate the card by placing it in the left palm of my hand, and you would put the right palm right here. And, they should be about this far apart. And then your right hand, is going to be able to start feeling into the energies of this card, right? So, by the way, frankly, either way, you could do it the other way around. You could put this in the right hand and receive with your left. Frankly, it works both ways. Arguably, the left is the receiving hand, so for a lot of you, you may choose to receive with your left hand. But either way, it's going to work either way, right? So you want to receive the vibrations of this card. And it's almost like you would imagine that there's like a portal that opens up in the middle of your palm when you're receiving. Literally, like this is like having a third eye in your palm. Pretty awesome. So you would feel like this card actually feels very solar because of all the yellow. It's a very sunny card, right? So I actually feel the heat straight away when I start working with this. It's really, really beautiful. I'm feeling the solar symbol of the lion as well. Because also like it has this very fluffy energies, right? So first you would just kind of like almost stay with the physicality of this card, right? And then you would meditate, once you've integrated like that, then you would meditate on the figure 8, actually on the symbol right here with your eyes closed. And when you're meditating on the figure 8, there are 3 things I would like for you to attempt to do. The first figure 8 that I want you to feel into is the figure 8 that you build between your third eye and your throat chakra, so your 5th and your 6th chakra, right? So you would imagine figure 8 looping around like this, like that, with your eyes closed, right? So like figure 8 is made of light, and so it's circulating like this. Second figure 8 is between your higher heart and your lower heart. So your higher heart is located in the thymus gland. It's pink. Your lower heart is located where your regular heart is, towards the left of your body. But really, if you work with the center, that's going to be fine also. It's emerald. And so essentially you would imagine a figure 8 going like this, like that, with your mind closed, with your eyes closed, sorry. And the last but not least, figure 8 that I recommend you do is between your third eye and your heart. So that's going to be your largest figure 8, right? The reason figure 8 is interesting and the reason feeling it in your body is interesting is because essentially you're bringing the different energies together. Whatever the loops are, they're going to bring everything around the common center, right? So figure 8 is actually the best way to get to duality, the absence of duality to get to unity is what I meant. For example, like I'll give you an example. How can you use it in real life? Let's say that you have an opponent, not an opponent. Although an opponent is like why not? Let's say you have an opponent, and let's say that opponent is a coworker, and let's say that you're trying to find middle ground between what they want and what you want. one way that you can figure that out is by, in a meditative state, imagining that this person is standing in front of you and imagining that figure 8 is surrounding your two bodies. Because figure 8 is always able to find the middle ground, that balancing point, that balancing act between their point of view and your point of view. So if you play around with that figure 8, one thing that you would be surprised and delighted to find out is that all of a sudden you get perspective, you gain perspective on what is it that you can propose so that both of you can be happy, right? You would become a diplomat, like a natural diplomat. Same thing if you're trying to work on a partnership between two companies, right? And you're trying to find synergies, right? Especially if the answer is not obvious. One way to get to the unification, one way to get to the opposite of duality is by leveraging the magic of the 8, which is the top of the arc of the feminine principle of feminine numerology. Last but not least, when I integrate the energies of the card, I like to be in the vicinity of the card for longer periods of time, not just when I'm integrating. So I have this little tool here, right, where I can just place my card. It's kind of like a little holder. So, and I just put that on my desk. And the card is facing me, if I'm working or I'm in my zone. And, all the meantime, as I'm working, as I'm going through my day-to-day, the card is staring at me. And so what ends up happening is I'm absorbing the energies of the card, not only through my palms, but I'm also absorbing it with my third eye, with my throat, and with my heart, right? All of our, wonderful centers of perception. So it really helps me build a deeper relationship with the card and a deeper understanding. So that's that, you guys. I hope this was helpful. I was called to talk to you about this today because somebody needed to hear this, and maybe a few somebodies. All right, well, this is just an example of how I integrated one card. If you want me to talk about any other tarot cards, drop me a note in the comments. If you love the 8th arcana, let me know if there's any particular way that you're integrating the energies of the card, or you're working with these with this portal, or if you have any other interesting stories about the Strength card. I am all ears. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Sending you a virtual hug, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.